Thank you so much, Andrew. Well, this year, 3 African-American women are celebrated for releasing movies in 2014. That's a record for a single year. However, that's just 3 out of nearly 400 films. Critics say Black female movie makers continue to face an uphill struggle. Joining us to talk about diversity in Hollywood and give us a little bit of the buzz, the Oscar buzz that's happening now, we have producer and director Lisa Cortes. Welcome to Arise America.
Thank you.
So good to have you. I appreciate it. So there's been a lot of talk about whether or not Selma was adequately recognized in the nominations for the Academy Awards. And some have said, 12 Years a Slave was the best picture last year. Selma has been nominated for a best picture. We don't know what's going to happen yet. Isn't that enough? But is this troubling at all to you?
Well, I think it's a loss in terms of recognition of all that this film has done for both Ava, the director, and David, who played Dr. King, not to be recognized among the pantheon of other projects there.
Yeah. It would seem that some in trying to sort of explain why, other Black actors or even Black members of the Hollywood industry were not recognized in the Academy Awards, particularly Best Director, Ava DuVernay, as you just referenced, was because very often the Academy looks at the body of work of a director, and that it's a reflection of their body of work. Of course, this was just her third out of the gate, I think, Selma. Does that ring true to you at all?
It does. I mean, if you look at the other Best Director nominees, it ranges from Birdman to Boyhood to Bennett Miller with Foxcatcher, Grand Budapest, and Imitation Game. So there's a little bit more traction that those directors have under their wheels, but, we was robbed.
Well, and I was going to ask you about that, Lisa. Do you find that this year, in terms of the Academy nominations, is an aberration? It seemed like African Americans in the movie industry were making strides. 12 Years a Slave, The Butler, and so many others. And then this year it was, a screeching halt. Is this just an aberration, or is there concern here about something that needs to be addressed?
No, actually, we are making strides, because when you look at the films that are going into production, the range of ways that we're exercising our voice, not only with big films, but at Netflix, on television. I can't wait till we have a Shonda Rhimes week. I think that we have to understand that audiences now receive their content in many different ways. It's not just 3 channels, and it's not just the movie theater, and in all the various modes of visibility, our voices throughout the diaspora are being heard.
Yeah, the seascape really has changed in that regard. However, this industry is overwhelmingly people of non-color. There's a better way to say that. It's overwhelmingly male as well. So how can non-male, non-white folk get their voice heard in the industry?
I think increasingly we need to not be so U.S.-centric in terms of how we judge the performance of our work. I want to sell my films around the world. I want my films to be seen in the UK, France, through Africa. I want to work with Nollywood. Mm-hmm. We have to remember that just like the Grammys, the Oscars were created for marketing purposes. Is it necessarily able to encompass all that's big and bright and wonderful? No. Mm-hmm. And it certainly drives the sales and ticket sales of certain films. But for us who are not represented in the decision-making positions, we have to understand that just like with every other art form we've created, we don't ask permission, and that we have audiences that are here, but our brothers and sisters in Paris, in London, in Dakar, we want to see ourselves, and I think it's on us to build those networking relationships.
With that understood, then, are there challenges unique to the Black female filmmaker in your experience?
I think there's challenges from finding sympathetic voices who make decisions, who understand and recognize our value and the power of our stories, and the interest in our stories because it's not in their everyday existence.
And at the end of the day, do the investors, these big houses, do they care about the vessel that is making the film? Because they're really just interested in the bottom line, aren't they?
Well, I think you have to differentiate between the independent model from the studio model. You have to look at companies like Plan B, which has supported so many incredible filmmakers of color, from Selma to 12 Years, next year, or Americana, that wonderful novel's being made into a film. And so as much as there might be people who it's not in their wheelhouse, there certainly are platforms and individuals who do recognize our values.
Lisa, I got to let you go, but I just want to know, in your experience, are you seeing that those people of color who are making their way in the film industry are opening the door for others? I'm thinking of the Lee Daniels and the Spike Lees and the Forrest Whitakers, and you could name all of them. Are they laying a nice groundwork for those coming behind them?
Absolutely. I think what's amazing, look at Forrest Whitaker. He could continue just to collect a check as a brilliant actor, but he's also out there producing films. So, Rick's film, which was at Sundance, his company was behind that, as they were behind, so many others. So, yes, we are paying it forward, and we need to now pay it forward internationally. All
right. Well said. Lisa Cortes, thank you so much. Very nice to meet you.
Thank you.
And you're watching Arise America.